Hello, this is Ahmed Elabyad from Cairo, Egypt. I'm mainly talking to the nations of European people, Western people, American people, Canadian and Australian people. This video is titled "The Misconception Israeli Politicians Spread Around Western Nation." There are many concepts that Israelis spread among Western people, and they translated the Quran to their languages to their language, the Hebrew language, to know more about Quran. And from the misconceptions that was spread around the Western people that gays, for example, are stoned to death. This is one, for example. And for example, the thief should be hand cutted. And this is another example from the misconceptions that Israelis spread around the Western nation. And there are other misconceptions spread about Islam to the Western nation, and this is the reason why they do what they are doing by colonizing Palestine, which is for Palestinians by definition, and they give a reason for Western nation for Western nations to support Israelis' ideologies and Israeli politicians' ideologies about Islam and about the Arabs and about and why they are doing what they are doing. They are Western people coming from Europe and taking the land of Palestine, and why the reason why is because these misconceptions that are spread, or rumors, we can say that these are rumors about Islam. They give themselves a reason to come and spread their ideologies in the Middle East by setting up Israel, and they stand on a reference, and the reference of Western Israelis politicians is that when Western Christianity was the law in Europe, it was bloody. It was a dark era, and a bloody dark era that scientists didn't know to think freely and to have the freedom to do what they are doing. And this is the reference they're standing on. And when Western people separated between religion and the law of the country, they come out with the democracy, and because of these problems, or because the dark era that Europe have been in, and this is not the real reference for Arabs. As an Arab, there was I never heard about someone that his hand was cut because he was a thief, or because he has stolen something. And I never heard, I never see someone that was hand cutted because he took something that he don't have ownership for. And anywhere in the Middle East, I never heard, and I never saw someone who maybe say that the government cut my hand, and this is because I was a thief, and this is not fair, and I have to take my my fair trial, and all these things. I never heard about this problem, and this problem never showed up for some Israeli politicians to take it a reason to come and set their law in the Middle East without any. They have no rights to take a land for an underpopulated people and set their country in it. Maybe Western Jewish were persecuted in Europe, in Poland, maybe in Germany, maybe, or anywhere in Europe, and these people must take their rights from Western people, from European people, not to take the rights from anyone else. And this is simple logic. There are true Jews, true Arab Jews. I don't know about the Western Jews. There are true Arab Jews that want to live in their countries and want to do their businesses in the country. They like their countries. They love their countries. Everywhere around the world, and or everywhere around the Middle East. But when Israeli politicians took the decision to settle land in the Middle East, they didn't take what the nation want, what the Arab and the European nation want. They took this decision based on whatever, based on they had some ancestors that were persecuted or were burned to death, and they want to take their revenge. Okay, it's not the problem of the Middle East. It's not the problem of the Arab nation, and this is simple logic. Arabs never did something for Jews. Never persecuted them. Never did what Hitler did, and this is clear fact. And I'm not talking here to the main reason I do these videos is to set the Middle East in peace, and what is happening that Israel is in the middle of the way between the countries around the Middle East is like having an unwelcome friend or unwelcome person in the middle of a group of people that don't want him in this group, and will never do something. Will never accept them as a mutual interest, business mutual interest, and my main concern is about the nations. The Arab nations will never accept Israelis as or the Israelis politicians and ideologies as the right concept to set a country in the Middle East. And here I'm talking about the true Jew nation that really want to and really like their countries, and they didn't take the decision for themselves. Someone had this idea about setting a country called Israel in the middle of the Middle East, or in Palestine, which is for Palestinian by definition. And here we go, guys. Let's gather ourselves and set and flourish Israel and do the best we can in Israel or whatever. And until now, after 71 years, they didn't have the Aliyah they are preaching for the Jews around the world, and there are many Jewish people that don't accept these ideologies, and to have a country that they don't have ownership for in Palestine, which is for Palestinian by definition, and they believe these things. They believe that Palestine is for Palestinians by definitions. We don't want to make an Aliyah to a place called Israel. We like our countries. We want to live here. We don't want to live anywhere else. And there's problems when the Ethiopian or the South African Jews went to Israel. There was a real problem between white Israels and black Israels, and they killed someone with cold blood. And this is the real fact. There is no harmony between people from Western people, European people, South African people, and Arab people to gather themselves in one place and call it a name, a religious name. This is a made up concept by Israel politicians and the nations worldwide. When they know, if I talked about the Western nation, when they know that the reason behind building Israel is about misconceptions that Israel politicians spread based on their reference. This is a real water soil base to build a country like Israel, and these are misconceptions that Western people need to know, and the Arab true Jews know this. These are twisted facts. These are misconceptions. We never had been persecuted from our countries. We never have been not supported not supported in our businesses. There are places that are for Jews, and until now, everywhere around the Middle East, there are places that called the Jewish suburb or the Jewish place, and nations are not accepting this idea. If they are the Arab nations or if they are the Western nation, and if the Western nations, if some of the Western nations are accepting these concepts that are spread by Israel politicians, because it's not their businesses, and whatever they are standing, whatever they are not convinced that much about these concepts, and they don't know that these concepts are misconceptions about Islam and about the Quran and about the Hadith, and this civilization, if it's not set right, or it's not replanned by the Western politicians, this civilization will cease to continue, will not continue. And I trying to help here, and I'm trying to give you another perspective to the Western nation. I'm trying to give my perspective about the land of Palestine, which is for Palestinian by definition, which is colonized by Israeli politicians. Trying to give you another perspective, and here we go. We are in a free civilization, free to talk about everything. And let me know what you think about this. And thank you for listening. Goodbye. Have a nice day.